The play-by-play. Here's Tommy Thrall.
You'd packed is it ever, and it seems to be the case throughout the weekend. Hope to see you out here as the Reds battle the Braves. Before we get this one started, let's take a look at today's starting lineups. They're presented by FanDuel. Swing for the fences and join FanDuel today, official partner of the Cincinnati Reds. We begin with Brian Snitker's Atlanta Braves. Of course, they've won 8 in a row. They have the National League's best record, 48-26. They have a 6-game lead in the National League East. The right fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., leads it off. The second baseman, Ozzie Albies, hits second. Batting third at third base, Austin Riley. Matt Olson's at first base, batting fourth. Marcell Ozuna is the designated hitter. He hits fifth. Batting sixth, the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. Eddie Rosario will play left field and hit seventh. Orlando Arcia is the shortstop, batting eighth, and Michael Harris will play center and bat ninth. A.J. Smith-Shawver starts on the mound for the Braves. Once more, it's Acuna, Albies, Riley, Olson, Ozuna, d'Arnaud, Rosario, Arcia, and Harris. Smith-Shawver pitching. Now for David Bell's Reds, looking to win their 12th in a row tonight. The Reds are now 5 games over 500 at 40-35, owning a game-and-a-half lead in the National League Central. Leading things off, the center fielder, T.J. Friedl. Batting second, the shortstop, Matt McLain. Jonathan India is at second base, hitting third. Batting fourth, the third baseman, Ellie De La Cruz. Jake Fraley's in right, hitting fifth. Joey Votto's at first base. He hits sixth. Batting seventh, the left fielder, Spencer Steer. Tyler Stevenson DHs and hits eighth, with Luke Maile catching and batting ninth. Luke Weaver, right-hander, starts on the mound for the Reds. Once more, Friedl, McLain, India. De La Cruz, Fraley, Votto, Steer, Stevenson, and Maile, with Weaver pitching. The umpires tonight at home plate, the crew chief, Chad Fairchild. Nick Lentz is at first. Brock Ballew's at second base. Jeremy Rehak is the third base umpire. Pleased as always to be joined by the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley. I'm Tommy Thrall. It is great to be with you tonight. And Cowboy Luke Weaver has been struggling lately for the Reds. 10 hits allowed, 5 runs his last time out facing Houston, and still managed to go 5 innings. But what do the Reds need from Luke Weaver tonight? What does he have to do to turn things around?
Well, I think the biggest issue for Luke Weaver is he needs to concentrate on staying ahead in the count. That's when he's been at his best, and that comes down to throwing strike one. Now, you throw strike one against a lineup like the Braves, you could give up some first pitch home runs. That's why you have to concentrate on keeping it on the edges. But if you're pitching 1-0, 2-1 to this lineup, you're not going to be out there very long.
It's the Reds and the Braves. Hope you enjoy it. Should be a fun night of baseball at Great American Ballpark. Let's play. Digging in to get things started, Ronald Acuna Jr. Luke Weaver looks in, has the sign, and here's the first pitch presented by Cincinnati Children. Changing the outcome together, and it's a first pitch strike. A fastball right over the outside corner. It's 0-1. 77 degrees at first pitch at 6:40 is our TempStar game time temperature. Now the 0-1 pitch is just a little bit high on the inside edge. And the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike on Ronald Acuna Jr. The right fielder hitting .324, 15 homers, 46 driven in. Now the 1-1. And Acuna Jr. takes a fastball over but low, 2 balls and a strike. Acuna Jr., Major League Baseball's leading vote getter in All-Star voting. He has had some success against the Reds. The 2-1 pitch misses off the outside corner, and Weaver has fallen behind the count, 3-1. He throws the first pitch strike. The next 3 have all been out of the zone. And now Weaver's home with the 3-1 pitch to Acuna Jr. Swinging a foul off to the right side. Get complete home comfort with an energy-saving, high-efficiency TempStar heating and cooling system. Find your local TempStar dealer at tempstar.com. TempStar, quality you can feel. 3 balls, 2 strikes, the count on Acuna Jr. Reds in their all-black City Connect uniforms today. Cincy across the chest, red piping. Here's the pitch. And it's in on the hands of Acuna Jr., and he fights it off and lofts it into short left center field. It's down for a hit. And the Braves leadoff man is on to start the ball game. That brings up Ozzie Albies. Albies hitting .267, 17 home runs, 53 driven in. He has hits in 7 of his last 8 games. One of the many hot hitters in this Braves lineup.
Well, you got 32 home runs between the 1 and 2 hole hitters. That means you've got to be on the edges.
Here's the pitch to Albies, and the pitch misses outside. A curveball hangs away, and the count is 1-0.
Acuna Jr. will run at will. So the Reds not only have to be quick to the plate on the mound, they've got to be accurate from behind the plate in the throw to second base.
The pitch is in the dirt. And it's 2-0 on Ozzie Albies. 32 stolen bases for Acuna. He's only been caught 6 times. Second in the big leagues with his 32 steals. Wide open stance for the left-handed hitting Ozzie Albies. Right-hander sets ready, and Weaver throws. And the pitch misses way off the plate outside, and it's 3-0. After strike one to Ronald Acuna Jr., Weaver fell behind 3-1 on Acuna. And now he's fallen behind Albies 3 balls and no strikes in the right-hander's pitch. And it's a ground ball headed up the middle. India won't get to it. It's by him to his right for a base hit. Around to third base is Acuna on the single by Ozzie Albies, swinging 3-0.
Against good hitting teams, and make no mistake about it, this Braves club is a good hitting team, very similar to the Reds. You have to be able to pound the strike zone with quality pitches. If you're hoping for a pitch that maybe a hitter will swing and miss, rarely does that happen in this lineup.
Now Austin Riley stands in, and he has just crushed Reds pitching over his young career. Right-hander Weaver sets, he delivers the pitch, and Riley takes a strike. Riley hitting .259 of the season. He has 12 homers, 35 driven in. You just look up and down this Braves lineup. Double-digit home run totals for just about everybody in the lineup, it feels like. Quickly 0-1 on Riley. Now the 0-1 pitch. Ground ball up the middle, off the diving glove of Jonathan India behind second. That'll roll slowly into center field. Acuna will score, and Albies is around to third on the RBI single by Austin Riley. His 36th run batted into the year, and the Braves have an early 1-0 lead. And now Matt Olson will stand in. The left-handed hitter at .230, 21 homers, 52 batted in. 3 straight singles have started the game for the Braves. They're on the board first. Here's the stretch by Weaver. And his pitch to Olson is taken down and away. Weaver starts him with a changeup, and it's 1-0. Weaver 1-2 on the season, a 6.47 ERA. Opponents have hit over 300 against Weaver this year. The 1-0 pitch is up and away. A fastball that missed. It's 2-0. The Reds will play Olson to Pole on the infield. Matt McClain really shading up the middle all the way to the threshold there. India way over in the hole on the right side, and Olson takes low and inside. It's 3-0. Weaver has thrown 15 pitches. Only 6 of those 15 pitches have been strikes so far.
And the majority of those 6 were against the first batter of the game.
Here's the 3-0 pitch. And Riley swings and fouls it back. 3-1 on Olson. Albies the runner at third. Riley's the runner on at first base. Weaver from the belt, home with the 3-1 pitch. And this ball is lifted high into the air. Very shallow right field. Jonathan India will backpedal into the right field grass to make the catch. The runners have to hold, and that is a big first out. But here is Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna's hitting .241. He has 14 home runs and 32 batted in.
Ozuna a lot more selective now than what we saw when we played in Atlanta early in the season. Seemed like he was swinging at everything in that series, and he's drawn 5 walks over his last 4 or 5 ball games, which normally for him, he is a free swinger, but when he's walking, that means he's locked in.
Went deep yesterday to cap the scoring for the Braves in their extra inning win against the Phillies yesterday. The pitch is fouled back, strike one. The Braves scored 5 runs in the 10th inning to beat the Phillies 5-1. 0-1 on Marcell Ozuna after fouling away the first pitch, and now Weaver's home with the 0-1 pitch. And it misses down and away. Cutter, and the count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike. Right-handed hitting Ozuna. Braves in their standard road grays. Atlanta scripted across the front, underlined with the tomahawk, but Ozuna's got that bright green, fluorescent green arm sleeve on his right arm. Swing and a miss. Ball and 2 strikes. I don't know if you'd call that fluorescent green or highlighter yellow. Ball and 2 strikes on Ozuna. First and third, 1 man out. The right-hander comes set. Weaver to the plate with a 1-2 pitch to Ozuna. Swing, and he fights it off, fouling it down the right field line. Weaver got away with a fastball down the middle there. And Ozuna would love to see that again. It was center cut, and I mean center.
When you see a hitter late in the count foul off a fastball down the right field line when it's center cut, he's looking for something off speed.
Weaver's 1-2 pitch. And he misses high with a fastball. So in that case, do you like the idea of going back to the fastball there?
I do.
Or do you try to get him to chase a breaking ball out of the zone?
You can't go out of the zone anymore. It's 2-2. You got to throw it over the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Ozuna. The right-hander sets and throws. And Ozuna tried to check his swing. Couldn't hold up on a cutter down and away. And Ozuna strikes out.
Big strikeout for Luke Weaver there.
Got the pop out of Olson. He comes back to strike out Ozuna. Now 2 gone here in the first inning, but he's not out of the woods. Travis d'Arnaud's the batter, and as I mentioned, that a lot of these guys in this Braves order are red hot right now. d'Arnaud is not one of them. He is just 1 for his last 14. The pitch up and in, ball 1.
There is no getting out of the woods with this Braves lineup. 1 through 9. You've got to be locked in from the time you step on the mound to the time you get the third out.
The right-hander Weaver has the sign, sets, and the 1-0 pitch to d'Arnaud. Swing, and it's fouled back our way to our right. 1 ball, 1 strike on d'Arnaud. 252, 4 homers, 14 driven in for Travis d'Arnaud. Ozzie Albies, the runner at third base. Austin Riley, who had the RBI single, standing at first. First 3 Braves all singled against Luke Weaver. A pop out and a strikeout have followed, and now the 1-1 to d'Arnaud. Swinging a foul straight back. 1-2 on d'Arnaud.
Well, d'Arnaud had kind of an underwater swing on the first foul ball. That pitch he was behind, and it was right down Broadway. To me, you heat him up and get the ball in off the plate here. You've got a pitch to play with.
Ball and 2 strikes on d'Arnaud. Weaver readies. Bailey sets away, and the 1-2 pitch. And it's a cutter down and away. Used the same pitch there that he struck out Ozuna on. This time, d'Arnaud would not take the bait. 2-2. Weaver back home with a 2-2 pitch. Swing, and this ball is well hit. Right center field and deep. Friedel going back at the wall. It's gone. Three-run home run, Travis d'Arnaud, his 5th home run of the year. And the Braves have a 4-0 first inning lead. And Derek Johnson out the mound now to visit with Weaver. Again, this season, Western and Southern Financial Group wants to strike out cancer all season long. Every time a Reds pitcher strikes out a batter, Western and Southern will make a donation to the UC Barrett Cancer Center. As Western and Southern says, when it comes to fighting cancer, we're all in this together. So the conversation on the mound is all wrapped up. TJ will head back to the dugout. Maley back behind the plate. And the batter is Eddie Rosario with the bases empty and 2 outs, but 4 runs home for Atlanta in the first. Eddie Rosario leads off will bat now after the visit. Rosario hitting .269, 13 homers, 37 batted in. The first pitch is a backdoor breaking ball to the left-handed hitting Rosario for a called strike. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch, and Rosario watches a fastball, called a ball off the outside corner.
You talk about a guy that's been hot. Eddie Rosario is smoking, stepping into the batter's box.
Into the dirt with a changeup, 2 balls and a strike. You pointed it out earlier before the game. The bottom third of their order is as hot as any part of their order. And Rosario, very much a part of that, on base in 16 of his last 26 plate appearances. The pitch is down too low, the breaking ball, 3-1.
You cannot pitch behind in the count, especially to a team like the Braves. You can't pitch behind in the count in the big leagues and be successful.
3-1 pitch, and Rosario takes ball 4. So Rosario came in 10 for his last 20. Draws the walk with 2 outs, and Orlando Arcia is the batter. Arcia is hitting .333, 6 homers, 25 batted in. He was 0 for 4 against the Phillies yesterday. The pitch fouled off to the right side, but he's also been swinging a very hot bat lately. In fact, he hasn't posted back-to-back hitless games since late May.
Arcia is playing with a chip on his shoulder. He had his job taken away from him in Milwaukee. He sat on the bench for 2 years behind Dansby Swanson.
A 1 pitch, line drive foul right side.
He got a chance to play right now. Every single ball game is like playing in the World Series for Orlando Arcia.
0-2 on Arcia. Runner on at first base with 2 outs. Weaver trying to get out of the first inning, even though 4 have already scored. He's trying to strand Rosario at first. The pitch off the plate outside with the cutter. 1-2. Weaver with the sign, straightens on the mound and deals the 1-2 pitch, and it's in the dirt, gets away from Maile, and that'll allow Rosario to move up to second base. Big turn there, but Rosario will hang on the wild pitch. The changeup in the dirt. So from 0-2, it's 2-2 on Arcia. Michael Harris, the second, waiting in the on-deck circle. Arcia is the 8th man to bat in this first inning against Weaver. Here's his 2-2 pitch, and it's a little soft roller foul outside of first. 2-2 on Arcia. That was a changeup, and Arcia barely got a piece of it. Two and two on Arcia. Rosario off second base. Weaver home with a pitch. Swing, and it's chopped foul over by Harris waiting on deck. Daniel Duarte starting to throw already in the Reds bullpen.
This will be the 40th pitch that Luke Weaver has thrown here in the first inning.
Weaver listening in, has the sign, sets ready, and deals the 2-2 pitch. And this ball is hit toward the right center field gap on a line. That's down, and that is to the wall. This will score Rosario as Arcia cruises into second base with an RBI double. It is 5-0 Atlanta before the Reds even get a chance to bat. And now the 9th man to hit in the inning is Michael Harris II.
Well, this has kind of been what we've seen from Luke Weaver the entire year. The key to this whole situation is that the Reds have won ball games, even though Weaver has pitched to almost a 10 ERA in the last 4 or 5 ball games.
Strike call on the outside corner, 0-1 on Harris.
Man, you talk about being behind the 8 ball right away.
A 5-run first inning for Atlanta and counting. And Harris, another guy that's been swinging a hot bat as he shoots this into the seats down the left field line foul. He has hits in 9 of his last 10 games, currently riding a 6-game hitting streak. But in his last 10, he's hitting .487. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. It's 0-2 in the pitch. Harris bounces it toward the middle. McLean in, gloves it just to the shortstop side of second and throws in time to get Harris. The inning is over. The Braves score 5. The Reds will take their swings when we come back on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network. The Reds will come to bat here in the bottom of the first inning. TJ Friedl set to lead things off against A.J. Smith-Shawver. What a story this guy is, Cowboy.
Well, no kidding. You talk about guys that have not pitched very much. I mean, he was a high school quarterback all the way up to his junior year in high school, which was only 2 years ago, folks. Hadn't even played baseball. All of a sudden, he's out playing baseball just to hang out with his buddies, and come to find out, he possesses a high-end fastball. So he gets drafted, he signs. Here he is.
First pitch to TJ Friedl is a fastball down too low, and the count is 1-0.
He started in A-ball this year.
Bingo.
Couple of starts, one in Double-A, one in Triple-A. Now making his third big league start.
Friedl swings, skies one into very short left field. Out goes Arcia. It's Rosario in from left to make the catch on that towering fly ball into very shallow left field off the bat of TJ Friedl. There's one gone in the first inning. Now his numbers this year in the minor leagues were pretty good.
Well, he's got some overpowering stuff from a fastball perspective, and he is a big kid. The issue is, will the breaking ball play up here? Because he doesn't have great command of it, and he doesn't throw to the edges with the fastball. He just comes at you.
Here's the pitch to Matt McLean, and he starts him with a fastball at 94 on the inside corner for strike one. Through his 3 stops this year, as you mentioned, high A, double A, triple A with the Braves, a 1.09 ERA in 7 games. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and McLean takes down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike on McLean. Nobody on, 1 out. The Reds are behind the 8 ball early with Atlanta leading 5-0. Right-hander deals the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball down and away. Atlanta, like so many other teams in need of starting pitching, when they brought him to the big leagues, they initially thought he would be a little bit of bullpen help. Well, he made 1 appearance out of the bullpen, and then they needed him to make some starts. He's making his 3rd start with the Braves tonight. The 2-1 pitch, and McLean takes up and in. It's 3-1.
Well, I think for the Braves bringing Smith-Shawver to the big leagues, they've only done it out of necessity. It's because they've had a lot of injuries in the starting rotation. They didn't have anybody else. So you reach down to A-ball and move the guy quickly.
Swing and a miss by McLean on a good fastball. Full count, 3-2.
Now you have to know the insides of the guy. You have to understand that there's going to be some hiccups being a 20-year-old guy making his major league debut. But obviously he's handled it well so far.
Here's the payoff pitch to McLean, and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Fastball in, and McLean is down on strikes. 2 men are gone here in the first inning. And it'll bring Jonathan India to the plate. Well, the Reds, during this win streak, have obviously been hitting quite well. You go back and you look at what the Reds have done over the last 7 games. This is the last 7 games of major league play. Reds, I think, have played 5 games in that stretch. The pitch is in the dirt for ball 1 to Jonathan India. The count is 1-0. But nonetheless, you look at what's been going on in Major League Baseball over the last week. Well, the Reds are hitting .297 as a team in that stretch. The only team better is the Braves. They're hitting .311 in that same span. The pitch is off the plate outside. 2 balls, no strikes on India. So if you look and you think, well, the Reds are down 5-0 early, Well, for one, nobody has come back more this season in Major League Baseball than the Reds. And
26 times.
They can hit well enough to battle their way back, but not a lot of room for error moving forward. You need to keep the Braves off the scoreboard. Here's the 2-0. India swings, skies that pop up high into the air outside the first baseline. It'll be the first baseman, Olsen, coming on to make the catch, and the side is retired. The Reds are down in order in the first. One complete, 5-0 Braves on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network. Luke Weaver's back to the mound for the Reds in the second. 5-0 Atlanta. First pitch to Ronald Acuna Jr. is breaking ball over the inside corner. He checked his swing, and it's a strike. The count is 0-1 on Acuna Jr. He singled to start the Braves' first inning rally. The 0-1 pitch is in the dirt. A changeup outside, and the count is even now. 1 ball, 1 strike. David Bell saying before the game today that Graham Ashcraft will be activated from the injured list and make the start tomorrow. The pitch is fouled off the catcher, Luke Maile. That was expected, but it wasn't necessarily a foregone conclusion. It was the hope that Ashcraft would be able to pitch tomorrow, but that sounds like that is certainly the case. Also, Derek Law, who threw a side session the other day, he will actually head out on a rehab assignment, pitch tomorrow or pitch Sunday, and then again on Wednesday, and then the Reds hope to have him back after that. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Acuna Jr., fouled off right side.
Yeah, I thought Derek Law looked really good in his side session. He made it on the field. He was facing Nick Senzel. Of course, when you're a bullpen guy, there's only a limited amount of pitches that you're throwing during that time, but I think he threw about 30 pitches.
1-2 pitch to Acuna Jr., swinging a foul over by the on-deck batter. So the Reds are hoping to get him back to help bolster the bullpen a little bit. That is a bullpen that has been worked over a lot. They may have an early entrance into this ball game today, regardless of if Weaver settles down and gets back on track. They will enter early, popped up foul, first base side, because already Luke Weaver has thrown 49 pitches as he deals with the leadoff hitter of the second inning. One ball, 2 strikes on Ronald Acuna Jr. The Reds play him mostly straight up on the infield. Shade him the other way slightly in center. Here's the pitch. And Acuna Jr. skies it high into the air, playable in left center field. Moving over that way is Spencer Steer. He's got it. And that's the first out of the second. Now Ozzie Albies will be the batter. Reds fans, did you know Kroger guarantees everything they sell is fresher than fresh? Their associates are constantly checking to make sure everything is at the peak of freshness, or they'll make it right. Kroger, fresh for everyone. 1 out for Ozzie Albies. He singled in the first inning. Reds play him drastically to pull. Switch hitter batting from the left side. The pitch, and Albies takes up too high. Ball 1. The 1-0. Albies barely got a piece of the changeup. Fouled it off at home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Weaver had him out in front pretty good on that pitch. 1-1 on Albies. You know, you don't think of the Reds as a home run hitting team, and make no mistake, the Reds have not really been a home run hitting team this year. Ground ball foul, first base side. So it's a little surprising that these are the 2 hottest home run hitting teams right now in the game.
Yeah, the Reds have 7 consecutive games with a home run. Braves on the flip side have 11 consecutive games with a home run.
1-2 pitch is in the dirt. Count evens 2-2 on Albies. Doesn't really surprise you about the Braves when you look at their home run totals up and down.
Well, they're the only team in baseball that has 7 guys with 10 or more homers. And that should tell you about that lineup.
2-2 pitch, and this ball is cranked high into the air, deep right field, down the line. Over there into the corner is Fraley, and it is a foul ball. Albies with a towering drive, flirting with the right field foul pole, but just did hook it foul. 2-2. Weaver back to the plate. And Albies Lifts this in the air. Lazy fly toward Friedel. Battling the bright sunshine. He'll make the catch. 2 men are out. If you're listening tonight on your car or truck radio, please remember to buckle your safety belt. This message brought to you by the Ohio Department of Public Safety. If you're not buckled up, what's holding you back? Austin Riley will bat with nobody on and 2 away. Weaver has retired the first 2 Braves with a couple of lazy fly balls here in the second inning after the Braves got him for 5 runs in the first. The pitch to Riley is a strike call, and the count is 0-1. Well, now that most of the folks have settled into their seats, it is jammed. Great American Ballpark today. The pitch is a strike. And boy, has Cincinnati caught Reds fever around here. Just about all anybody wants to talk about. The 0-2 pitch, and this ball is cranked to center field off the bat of Riley. Dead center, backing up Friedel, and just in front of the 404 sign, Friedel makes the catch, and the inning is over. So the Reds retire the Braves 1-2-3 with 3 flyouts in the second, middle of the second. That's the Braves 5, Reds nothing on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network. Ellie De La Cruz will lead off the Reds' second inning. 5-0 Atlanta. De La Cruz bats for the first time, working on a 5-game hit streak. Here's the pitch to De La Cruz. He swings and fouls it back out of play to the left. The count is 0-1. De La Cruz, 10 for his last 22 over the hit streak. Has a home run, a couple of RBIs, a few doubles in there as well. Here's the 0-1 pitch to De La Cruz. He swings and hits a rocket toward right center field and high off the wall. De La Cruz around first, and he will coast into second base with a double. And he just barely missed a home run. That ball was smashed.
Just didn't get high enough.
That's exactly it. It's kind of like Fraley's ball the other day, except Fraley pulled it enough to get it out of here. That looked like a tee shot on the PGA Tour. Mercy. So for De La Cruz, it's now a 6-game hit streak. That is his 5th double of the year. And Jake Fraley, who I just mentioned, hit the game-winning home run on Wednesday. Bats now, and Fraley takes up and away. Well, because I know you're curious about such things, how hard was that ball hit? How about 116.6 miles an hour?
He's got 2 in the top 5.
Wow. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Jake Fraley. Swing and a miss. Change up, down and in. And the count is even 1 ball, 1 strike.
They have to replace that section of padding on the wall. They have a hole in it.
Thought it was going to carry him all the way back to the infield. Shot off like it hit a trampoline. Here's the 1-1 pitch. De La Cruz dancing off second. Started, stopped. Now the pitch to Fraley is in the dirt. That's a good thing it hit the wall. If that would have gone into the stand, somebody would have got hurt. 2-1 on Fraley. The pitch. And Fraley pops it up foul off third. Over to have a look is Riley. And he will run out of room. It's into the seats behind the third base dugout. 2-2 on Fraley. And out to an early lead as we look at the Alta Fiber trivia question of the game. Alta Fiber elevating connection. In Reds history, only 2 managers have guided the club to 5 consecutive winning seasons. Reds and National Baseball Hall of Famer Sparky Anderson, of course, is one. But who's the other? The 2-2 pitch to Jake Fraley. Swing, and that's tap foul. Is it A, Buck Ewing, B, Bill McKechnie, or C, John McNamara?
5 consecutive
winning seasons. 2-2 on Fraley. De La Cruz at second base with nobody out. Smith-Shawver's 2-2 pitch to Jake Fraley. And he takes in the dirt, a changeup. And now it's a full count. Smith-Shawver, depending on what you look at, one of the top Braves prospects. Baseball America just did their re-ranking midseason recently, and they had him as the Braves' top prospect. Here's the righty's 3-2 pitch. And Fraley drives it high and deep right center field. Way back there and gone! Jake Fraley. The Reds are on the board. Fraley has homers in consecutive at-bats. Both of them 2-run blasts. The game winner Wednesday, and now at his first at-bat tonight.
It's pretty amazing watching Jake Fraley's at-bats when he has runners in scoring position. He just seems to come to the party. He must really relish the ability to hit and a chance to drive home a run. Well, he drove home Ellie De La Cruz and himself.
So the Reds are on the board now. It is 5-2 Atlanta. And here is Joey Votto. And the pitch to Votto. A backdoor breaking ball hangs high on the outside corner. 1-0. Votto doesn't have a hit either of his last 2 ball games after the 2-hit game, including his first home run of the year and his first game back, the 1-0 pitch. Votto barely got a piece of it, fouled it away. 1 ball, 1 strike on Votto. 2 for 9, a home run, 3 RBIs. Playing in just his 4th game. Here's the 1-1. Votto grounds it foul, pulls it off the netting. Down beyond the Reds' first base dugout. A double and a home run have started the Reds' 2nd inning. Bases are empty. Votto waiting on the 1-2 pitch from Smith-Shawver. The 20-year-old brings it home. Fouled back. Pretty remarkable when you consider how young Smith-Shawver is. He was born in 2002, as was Ellie De La Cruz. Both Joey Votto and Charlie Morton were both drafted in 2002. Votto swings and fouls it away. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Votto and holding. So the options again, Buck Ewing, Bill McKechnie, and John McNamara. I want to say for some reason John McNamara, but I have no idea.
I'm going to go with B. Who is that?
Bill McKechnie.
That's my guess. How about that?
That would be B. One of those days, huh?
It is.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Votto bounces a high chopper behind the bag at first. Fielded by Olsen. Feeds to the pitcher at the bag for the out. 3-1. 1 out in the 2nd. Well, we'll revisit that a little bit later on and see how we did. Reds fans, you can get that great taste of the ballpark at home with JTM's Philly Kits and Fat Tire beer, cheese, and pretzels. Find these game day favorites in your grocer's freezer. JTM Food Group. Let's create great dishes together. Spencer Steer's up there now. Nobody on, 1 out. Reds have 2 in here in the 2nd on the 2-run Jake Fraley home run. The pitch. And Spencer Steer, first ball swinging, skies a pop up over by the Braves' third base dugout and right on top of the third base dugout, back into the seats. 0-1 on Spencer Steer. .273, 10 homers, 40 RBIs for Spencer Steer. Right-hander against right-hander, and Smith-Shawver deals the 0-1 pitch. And that's in the dirt outside. The fact that he is even here after getting drafted in the 7th round in 2021 is remarkable for Smith-Shawver. The 1-1 pitch off the plate inside. It's obviously quick, but this would be quick to get to the big leagues if you were a college pitcher. He was a high school pitcher that, as we talked about, wasn't even throwing a baseball until his junior year. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a foul.
Well, if you're a college pitcher, you're not draft eligible because you're a freshman.
That's right. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Steer. Just 20 years old is A.J. Smith-Shawver. With the sign from Darno, the 2-2 pitch, and that's off the outside corner, a fastball away, full count. As we talked about, a two-sport guy. Football was always his favorite and best sport. Here's the payoff. And this ball is lifted high into the air, left center field. That's well hit, but the park will hold it as Rosario fades back to the edge of the warning track near the 379 sign to make the catch. Spencer Steer is the second out of the Reds' second inning. And here's Tyler Stevenson. We've been talking about a little bit here lately that we're seeing signs more and more from Stevenson that he's starting to maybe turn that corner at the plate. In his last 8 games, he has 4 multi-hit contests, including the 3-for-4 game Wednesday in which he scored a run. The pitch. Stevenson takes down and away for ball 1. 1-0. Overall, he's hitting .253, has 5 home runs. He's knocked in 32. Smith-Shawver's 1-0 pitch to Stevenson. And he takes over below on a slider down, 2-0. Bases empty, 2 outs. The Reds have scored 2 in the second. It's 5-2 Atlanta. The right-hander's 2-0 pitch, and Stevenson leans back out of the way of a high fastball. 3 balls, no strikes. Catcher Luke Maley waiting in the on-deck circle behind Stevenson.
Well, the more pitches you make Smith-Shawver throw, the closer you are to getting a pitch that you can drive out of the ballpark, because the fatigue factor will set in. As we said to start the game, he just hasn't pitched that much.
Right. Fastball out the knees, a called strike. 3-1 on Stevenson. He throws. And the 3-1 pitch is a high pop foul back behind home and into the seats just below us.
Well, we've seen a lot of pop-ups that have been right around the dugout area behind home plate that have just gone into the seats, and a lot of that are elevated fastballs that are running in on the hands of the right-handed hitters. They see that fastball out there and they go after it, and by the time they swing, it's gotten in on the bat a little bit.
Here's the payoff pitch, and Stevenson takes high, ball 4. And that'll prompt a visit from Rick Kranitz. He is the Braves pitching coach. Nobody has more all-wheel drive vehicles than Toyota, including the adventurous RAV4, America's best-selling SUV. For all Toyota offers, see your Toyota dealer or go to buyatoyota.com. The Braves came into play today. They have a 6-game lead on Miami, which, if you know anything about the way Miami's been playing lately, they've been playing some awfully good baseball, and Atlanta still has a 6-game lead on the Marlins. And the Phillies are in third, just a couple of games over 500. They are 10 games back, and the Mets, who went out, spent all that money, and won a lot of the headlines in the offseason, well, they find themselves 6 games under 500 to the Mets, and they are 14 games behind the Braves in the National League East. Luke Maley standing in. Runner on at first base, 2 outs. Smith-Shawver throws the pitch, and Maley first ball swinging. It's a high pop-up on the right side of the infield. The first baseman, Matt Olson, is there to make the catch. Side retired. But the Reds get on the board. A 2-run Jake Fraley homer. And it's 5-2 Atlanta as we go to Cowboy in the third on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
Luke Weaver back out for his 3rd inning of work. Top of the 3rd, Braves and Reds here in the first of a weekend 3-game series in front of a packed house here at Great American Ballpark. There is not a seat to be had. Changeup misses down and in. The first pitch from Weaver. It's a 1-ball, no-strike count. Matt Olson, Marcell Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud for the Braves. who lead the Reds 5-2 here as we begin the third inning of play. The 1-0. And a pitch misses downstairs. Looked like another changeup from Weaver, and it's a 2-ball, no strike count. Well, if Weaver should have learned anything from the first inning, he can't pitch behind in the count. This pitch grounded foul down the first baseline because the Braves scored 5 runs in the first inning. He retired the Braves in order in the second. The Reds, courtesy of a 2-run home run by Jake Fraley, got back in the ball game. And that's the scoring thus far. This pitch fouled to the left side, out of play. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Olson. The pitch from Weaver. Tapper foul, a cutter right on the inside corner. And Olson smothered it at home plate. 2-ball, 2-strike count it remains. Olson popped out to India his first time up. Out in short right field, the pitch. And he pops this one up. Left side, slicing towards the seats, down the left field line. And over there is Ellie De La Cruz, and he makes the catch and tumbles right over the top of a sliding Spencer Steer as Steer came flying in from his left field position, trying to catch the ball, and Steer slammed against the wall trying to get out of the way of De La Cruz, and it appears they'll both be fine. But the main thing from a Red perspective is De La Cruz caught the baseball. 1 down. There are not too many third basemen in Major League Baseball that can range that far. Manny Machado comes to mind, down the left field line and catch the ball up against the wall in foul territory. Ozuna fouls the first pitch off. That's to the right side, out of play. And it's a no-ball, 1-strike count. Weaver back to the dish. Changeup misses down and away, and Ozuna will lay off. Marcel, a strikeout victim his first time up, chased the slider off the plate after quite the extended at bat. And he smokes this one into left field, a one-hopper to Spencer Steer. And the Braves have a base runner here in the third with 1 down. And now Travis d'Arnaud. d'Arnaud with a 3-run home run into the right center field bleachers in his first at bat. Every pitch to him was away, 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 and he finally just went out there and smoked it. They're going to go in this time. And it's a fly ball to right, sending Fraley back to the track. He stumbles, but he makes the catch. 2 down. The ball was hit pretty well by d'Arnaud, and Fraley had to sprint back to the wall, and as he was finding the wall, the ball began to slice towards the corner. He had to plant his left foot and come back and get it, but he was able to do so. And that'll bring Eddie Rosario to the plate with 2 down, and Marcell Ozuna standing at first base. And the first pitch is a fastball away, and that's strike 1 here to Rosario. Rosario walked his first time up. Scored on the double by Orlando Arcia. The 0-1. Fouled straight back. A fastball right at the top of the zone. Cut the plate in half. But Weaver quickly ahead at a no-ball, 2-strike count here to the hot-hitting Eddie Rosario. Came into the ball game 10 for his last 20 with 5 home runs and 11 RBIs. The pitch. And he hooks this one down the right field line, and it is foul and not by much. That ball had a bit of a hook to it right there at the end. Saving grace for the Reds and Luke Weaver. Count remains 0-2. The pitch. pop foul back behind home plate. That'll be in the seats and out of play. And that was a high fastball up and away from Rosario. Weaver's still way ahead in the count at 0-2. The pitch. And he bounces this changeup up there. Nicely blocked by Maley, the catcher for the Reds behind home plate. And that'll make it a 1-ball, 2-strike count. 43 pitches in the first inning for Luke Weaver. 16 in the second. He's thrown 15 here in the third. Back with a 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Got him on the changeup. Way out in front was Rosario. And the second consecutive scoreless inning for Luke Weaver. But the Reds are trailing 5-2 as they come to the plate here in the bottom of 3 on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network. TJ Friedl, the Reds leadoff batter, is the first one to the plate here in the bottom of 3. He'll take a breaking ball upstairs, and it's a 1-ball, no-strike count. Friedl flied out to left field in his first at bat. And Smith-Shawver back to the plate, a breaking ball. That misses outside, and it's 2-ball, no-strike count. The consistency of the breaking ball over the plate for Smith-Shawver, not so hot. Fouled to the left side, into the seats and out of play. But that fastball's got a bit of giddy up to it. It has been anywhere from 93 to 97 so far here tonight. Straight over the top heater. Sometimes it has a little bit of run to it. Most of the time it's pretty straight. Here's the 2-1. And it is that fastball again, and it is well above the strike zone. 3-1 now to Friedl. Reds need base runners. 5-2 Braves lead this one as the Reds try to get something started, and Friedl does exactly that. Down to first he goes with a base on balls. And here's Matt McLain.
That's what you go back to the second inning. That's why that walk, even though it may seem inconsequential to Tyler Stevenson, it allows you to get your leadoff man up there the next inning. Even though Maley makes the out, now you get your leadoff man up, and now he's on.
Well, here's Matt McLain. He was the lone strikeout for Smith-Shawver through the first 9 batters of the Reds here tonight. And he'll take a strike over the outside corner, a slider down and away. And Smith-Shawver quickly ahead of the Reds shortstop, but a no-ball, 1-strike count. Friedl will run. Only been caught 1 time. He has 8 stolen bases. And that breaking ball misses into the dirt. Looked like another slider there. And Smith-Shawver held onto that one a bit too long. 1-ball, 1-strike count. McLain readies. And the Braves right-hander will pick to first base. That sends Friedl diving back into the bag. Friedl eases off the base at first. McLain readies the pitch. And it's off the outside corner. A fastball down and away. 2-ball, 1-strike count. Braves righty at the belt. There goes the runner. Swing and a miss. Throw to second. Not nearly in time. 9th stolen base of the year for TJ Friedl. But now the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. It was a high fastball up and away from the right-handed hitting McLain, and he came up empty with the swing. Smith-Shawver checks second, turns it loose. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. That is strike 3. Well, so far, it does not appear that young Matt McLean is seeing the ball quite well out of the hand of Smith-Shawver, or maybe Smith-Shawver's making his best pitches. That was a changeup, and it was a very good one. And he had the Reds' young shortstop way out in front. One down, and here's Jonathan India. India readies. There goes the runner. That pitch is well inside, and that is a second stolen base for T.J. Friedl here in the ball game.
We got a walking lead and a huge jump. There was nothing d'Arnaud could do there.
Matter of fact, Friedl was in the air diving as the ball was coming to the plate. Foul down the right field line. That'll be in the seats and out of play. India trying to shoot that ball the other way.
When you still need 3 runs and it's fairly early in the game, does having that runner at third there, you think, change this at bat a lot for India?
Just chip away, figure out a way to get the run home. One down in the inning. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count here to India. And it's a breaking ball. Misses well off the outside corner. The curveball from Smith-Shawver in that situation. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Now, if you're d'Arnaud, you really got to keep the ball in front of you. Fouled straight back. Right back, right here.
Oh, is that you? Might be a little hard for that window to close now. I don't know if that window is going to close now. Did
all right.
Little bracket.
As long as it didn't hit me.
That's right. You were bailing, though.
I was definitely bailing.
That was coming in hot.
2-ball, 2-strike count to India. Runner at third, Friedl. Pitch up and in, and the count will run full. And now you're in a spot, if you're Jonathan India. Yeah, you'd like to get that run home, but if the ball is off the plate, you've got Elly De La Cruz waiting on deck. Here's the pitch. And he struck him out. He chased a breaking ball in the dirt. A little over-aggressive was India, and there's 2 down. And now De La Cruz will bat with those 2 outs, and the runner still standing at third base in T.J. Friedl. De La Cruz, a missile off the wall his last time up, and this ball is crushed deep right field. It is a 5-4 ball game. A 2-run shot by De La Cruz. And folks, I think he's getting loose. He is starting to warm it up.
The double that he hit back in the second inning was a missile. That one, a little more majestic.
Well, the thing about De La Cruz, as we have seen as the crowd comes to their feet for the young phenom, and he will don the cape and the Viking helmet. The thing about De La Cruz is he is just starting to get things going. Jake Fraley steps to the plate. All he did was hit a 2-run home run his last time up. The 0-1 is fouled back behind home plate, and it is a no-ball, 2-strike count. Look, we talked about it time and time again during this 11-game win streak for the Reds. They have been the comeback kids. 26 times they have come back to win a ball game, and they were trailing 5-0 after the top of the first inning when the Braves put 5 on the board. It is now a 5-4 ball game. 1-ball, 2-strike count here to Jake Fraley. Smith-Shawver to the plate, swing and a miss. He struck him out. But the Reds have pulled to within one. These kids just do not give up. Fourth inning coming up. Tommy Thrall's coming back here on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
Well, the Braves will come to bat here in the fourth inning with their once 5-run lead down to 1. It is 5-4. The pitch is a breaking ball from Weaver on the outside corner to Orlando Arcia for strike one. The Reds with a pair of 2-run home runs. Jake Fraley and now Ellie De La Cruz. Fastball on the inside corner, right at the knees. Well thrown for a called strike, and it's 0-2. And that's just something, Cowboy, that it didn't seem like Weaver was doing at all in the first inning. Locating the fastball on the inside corner. Now he buries a pitch.
Well, everything was away. He didn't use his changeup until he got to Matt Olson, and he only used it once there. Changeup is his best secondary pitch. That cutter, not so much.
1-2 pitch. Fastball up and in. Arcia hops back out of the way of it. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Daniel Duarte starts throwing again in the Reds bullpen. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Third strikeout of the game for Luke Weaver. And there's one away in the fourth. The Cincinnati Reds and the Reds Radio Network want to welcome Reds on Radio affiliate WSLM AM 1220 and FM 97.9 from Salem, Indiana, here for today's game. Here's the pitch to Michael Harris II. And there's that changeup you were talking about. He had Harris way out in front, strike one.
Weaver is much better when he throws in and he uses the changeup off of it.
Now the 0-1. And there's a little broken bat flare into short center field. Diving for it, Friedel. It hits out of his glove and rolls in front of him. He darn near made a sensational play, but it hits out of the palm of his glove and trickles away in front for a base hit for Harris. Great effort by Friedel.
That bat snapped in half. The remaining part of the bat is actually on the edge of the grass behind where the first baseman plays.
That'll be it, it looks like, for Luke Weaver. With Duarte warming up, David Bell is making his way to the mound, and I do believe that Weaver's day is done, going 2 turns through this Braves lineup. So Weaver is going to exit in the fourth with a runner on at first and 1 out. Reds are down a run, 5-4 Atlanta on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
Right-hander Daniel Duarte comes in for the Reds out of the bullpen here in the fourth inning. Duarte coming on for only the 5th time. No record, a 2.08 ERA. He's thrown the ball well thus far in his short period of time back in the big leagues with the Reds.
He inherits a runner at first base. There is 1 out. It is 5-4 Atlanta in the fourth. Top of the order for the Braves now. Ronald Acuna Jr. takes a first pitch fastball, called a ball, low, 1-0.
Not a good night for Luke Weaver.
Exits with 1 on and 1 out here in the fourth. Gave up 5 when the Reds sent 9 to the plate in the first. Picked to first, and he is picked off. Harris jogging towards second. Flip to India. India chasing him back to first. Feeds to the pitcher, and Duarte tags him out. That will go 1-3-4-1 on the caught steal.
I thought for a minute Votto gave that ball up way too early. But India, he made up some ground. Because when Votto threw the ball to India, there was nobody back at first. But I don't think Michael Harris realized that because he was looking at India.
So that erases the 1-out single. Now the bases are empty. And here is the 1-0 pitch to Ronald Acuna Jr. Down too low with the slider. It's 2-0.
When you look at Acuna's numbers, hitting in the leadoff spot, I mean, these are stupid numbers. 324, 15, 46 coming into tonight.
Swing and a miss. Not your prototypical leadoff hitter numbers, are they?
Well, there's 2 other numbers that just dropped me. 21 doubles, 32 stolen bases. 32.
The 2-1. Whacked foul to the right side. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count as that ball goes soaring into the upper deck down the right field line.
Yeah, there was a lot of concern in Atlanta after the knee issue and the surgery for Acuna Jr. after he missed significant time. But he has come back with a vengeance this year.
The 2-2. Swinging a bouncing ball foul, third base side. He had a huge series against the Reds earlier this year. He went 7 for 12 back in Atlanta during that series. Already 1 for 2 tonight. Nobody on. 2 men are out. 5-4 Atlanta. 4th inning. Duarte sets and throws the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball pounded into the ground. Left side. Diving De La Cruz. He can't get it. It's by him and into left field. A base hit. Ronald Acuna Jr. has his second hit of the night. It's a 2-out single. And here's Ozzie Albies.
I mean, even on a ball like that one that is mishit by Acuna Jr., the ball has so much spin on it. I mean, it turns into an almost impossible play. I mean, it would have had to been perfect placement for De La Cruz with his glove to be able to catch that ball with the dive.
Switch hitting Ozzie Albies up there now. Pick to first. Chases Acuna Jr. back to the bag.
You bet with 2 outs here. 32 stolen bases. He's thinking about it.
He's like a bull ready to charge over there. Pawing at the dirt. Here's the pitch. The runner goes. Throw to second. No chance. Off the glove of McLean. It's into right field. And Albies up quickly on his way to third on the stolen base and the E2.
What's amazing about that stolen base, Luke Maile could have thrown that ball right on the bag, and he had no chance to get him. That's how big of a jump Acuna Jr. had. A great read of Duarte. And you add in the speed with that. Catcher's trying to make a quick snap throw, and he ends up with an error. Now
he's at third. 1-0 the count on Albies, and the pitch. Duarte's offering is fouled straight back. 1 ball, 1 strike on Albies. If you get Albies here, it's a moot point.
Albies and Acuna Jr. from their time in the minor leagues, they have been going at each other. Acuna Jr., the big fella. Albies, the little fella, but the little fella has 17 home runs.
Here's the 1-1 pitch to Ozzie Albies. Check swing. Did he go? They appeal to third. He said he went. Jeremy Rehack up with the right fist. It's 1-2 now on Albies. It reminds me a lot of Hayward and Freeman coming up together in the Braves system. 2 were very close, good friends. The 1-2 pitch to Ozzie Albies. Swing and a miss. Struck him out on a cutter in the dirt. Albies down on strikes. The Braves strand a runner at third. They still lead it by 1. It's 5-4 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
700 WLW.
The Reds come to bat at the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Votto, Steer, and Stevenson against A.J. Smith-Shawver. Votto grounded out to the first baseman his first time up. It is 5-4 Atlanta. The Reds have scored a pair of runs each of the last 2 innings to cut into the Atlanta lead and make it a 1-run game. Votto eases back into the box, drops the bat head down to the plate, whirls the bat around, and now holds. Smith-Shawver home. The pitch to Votto is low and outside as he starts from the fastball down and away, and the count is 1-0. The Reds with a pair of home runs, both of them 2-run shots. The 1-0 pitch, and Votto takes 2 high on a fastball upstairs. 2-0.
I've been told that the ball that De La Cruz hit for the double back in the 2nd inning is the 2nd hardest hit ball by any Red in the StatCast era. That's going back to 2015.
Strike called on the inside corner. 2-1. It's pretty good. Fouled straight back by Votto. 2-2 now.
2nd ever by a guy that's not even been in the big leagues 3 weeks.
But as you mentioned, he seems to be starting to figure it out a little bit.
I think he's warming up.
2-2 on Votto. Smith-Shawver, drop step kick and pitch. Votto takes a pitch buried in the dirt, a changeup way out in front of home plate. Full count. Are you surprised at the pitch mix and how many different pitches that Smith-Shawver's able to throw for as limited a time as he has spent pitching in his life? Here's the payoff. And Votto swings. High, deep drive, center field. Harris back, looks up, gone! Votto's tied it up. A solo home run for Joey Votto to straightaway center field way out of here.
That was a no-doubter. You're not going to be able to just sit and throw fastballs by Votto. That's just not going to happen.
And here come the Joey chants. Now Spencer Steer, the pitch. Up and in and off the mid of the catcher Darno. They asked to see if Steer swung. He didn't, and it hit him. So he will head to first on the hit by pitch. And let's pause for station identification on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
A Claremont County man entering a not guilty plea, now held without bond, charged with the deaths of his 3 sons. Details after the game on the home of the Reds, News Radio 700 WLW Cincinnati.
Runner at first base, nobody out. Spencer Steer hit by the pitch after the home run by Votto that tied this game at 5. And now Tyler Stevenson bats for the second time. He was walked his first time up. Smith-Shawver readies and throws. Swing and a miss. A high fastball. 0-1 on Tyler Stevenson.
You know, this is kind of like a golf match and you're 4 holes in and the guy you're playing spotted you 5 shots before you ever started. Because that's basically what the Reds did. It was 5-0 before the Reds even got to hold a bat.
The 0-1 pitch is a called strike on the outside corner. 0-2. Stevenson thought it was off the plate outside. Action now in the Braves bullpen. Colin McHugh throwing. The 0-2. Breaking ball stays upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Stevenson. Steers at first with nobody out. From the belt, the 1-2 pitch. In the dirt, it bounces right by Darno all the way to the backstop and down to second base on a very wild pitch. Spencer Steer.
Darno would have had to have been a hippo to block that. And a big hippo at that.
Hippo? Did you go to the zoo with the boys yesterday?
Hey, I did not, but judging by how wild that pitch was, you needed something large to block it.
2-2 on Stevenson. Smith-Shawver's pitch. Up and in, full count. Well, the Reds have him rattled now. And that is seemingly apparent. Reds have tagged him for 5 runs on just 4 hits. But the Reds have 3 homers.
You need to get that lead before they get him out of there.
Here's the payoff pitch to Stevenson. He swings. High fly ball left field. The park will hold it. Eddie Rosario backs up a step to make the catch. Steer will tag at second but stay put. And Brian Snitker can't quite get out of the dugout fast enough. He is going to go get his starter right now. The Reds with 4 hits against him. All 4 of those hits, extra bases, 3 homers and a double.
I think Brian Snitker realizes that Stevenson just missed that pitch.
He didn't miss it by much. He seemed to be on time, but just got under it a little bit. Pitching change made in the 4th. Runner at second, 1 out. Reds and Braves all even at 5 on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
New pitcher for the Braves. Coming on here in the 4th inning will be right-hander Colin McHugh. McHugh will come on for the 23rd time. 3-0 record, a 2.70 ERA. But he's allowed 36 hits in his 30 innings, and he has walked 11.
He will get Luke Maile first and foremost with a runner at second base and 1 out. 5-5 Reds and Braves. Bottom of the 4th inning. McHugh comes set. Paws at the belt. He throws. And Maile grounds into the left side. To his left, the third baseman Austin Riley scoops. Low throw and a big stretch by Olson, but he's able to snag it for the out. The runner Steer has to stay at second base, and now 2 men are out and back to the top of the order. Here's T.J. Friedl.
McHugh's sinker ball pitcher. He's on top of the ball, but the ball has some late sink to it. Not overpowering. Not a big strikeout guy, but he does get a lot of ground balls.
Friedl stole a couple of bases and scored in the Reds' third. He's up there with a runner at second. The go-ahead run. The pitch is off the inside corner. Breaking ball 1-0 on T.J. Friedl. Get mealtime inspiration at Laura's LeanBeef.com. All natural with added hormones or antibiotics. Laura's Lean is the official beef of your Cincinnati Reds.
Riley playing really deep at third. The bunt could be in order.
McHugh throws. And Friedl takes a breaking ball in there for a called strike. 1-1.
That's the one thing about Friedl. He'll bunt anytime. He'll bunt with 2 strikes. He'll bunt with 2 outs.
McHugh sets ready. The pitch. And Friedl swings and fouls away a breaking ball right off his foot. He goes to a knee in some pain. Hobbles to his feet and will walk it off. Let's get the answer to our Alta Fiber trivia question of the game. Alta Fiber, elevating connection. In Reds history, only 2 managers have guided the club to 5 consecutive winning seasons. Reds and National Baseball Hall of Famer Sparky Anderson's one. Who's the other? A. Buck Ewing, B. Bill McKechnie, or C. John McNamara. You said B, I said C. We staying?
Sure.
Correct answer is A. Buck Ewing. Oops. They work in behind the runner at second. The 1-2 pitch is in the dirt outside. 2-2.
Well, it's been a lot.
Hall of Famer Buck Ewing managed the Reds from 1895 to 1899. Despite never winning a league title, he guided the Reds to 5 straight winning seasons. Bill McKechnie had 4 straight. John McNamara had 3.
18 what?
Way back. Breaking ball outside. 1895 to 1899. So those are the questions we got to text Marty
using
about.
Gloves back then?
Probably not. They were probably tossing it up there underhand. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Friedl chased a high fastball. He's down on strikes. The inning's over. But the Reds tie it up. Joey Votto's blast to center has evened the score at 5 as we go to the 5th on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network. Brand new ball game now, all tied at 5, 5th inning. Austin Riley to lead things off for the Braves here in the top of the 5th. The right-hander Daniel Duarte, who came in and got the final couple of outs of the 4th, back out there in the 5th, and he misses outside with a fastball for ball 1. 1-0 on Riley. Riley's 1 for 2 tonight. He singled and scored in the first inning, flew out to center field in the second. Duarte, high hold, his pitch. And it's a strike called over the inside corner. The count is even now. 1 ball, 1 strike on Riley. 5-5 tie, 5th inning. Duarte's pitch. Swinging a bullet to left field. On the run is Steer. He won't get it, but he does cut it off on a bounce and throws it back in quickly to second base and holds Riley to a single. Off the bat, it looked like a double for Riley, but Steer able to get over there, got to it, played it on a hop, and holds Riley to just a base hit.
Hit it off the end of the bat, kind of hooked it towards left field. Bare hand snag on the 1 hop by Steer.
Channeling his third base days there. Matt Olson's up with a runner on at first and nobody out. Olson 0 for 2. The pitch, swing and a miss. Boy, he was pulling off that fastball is right down the middle, and Olsen kind of an ugly swing. Duarte through the signs is ready. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and Olsen takes a cutter down and in. The count evens. 1 ball, 1 strike. Packed house at Great American Ballpark. There is not a seat to be had. Reds have given them 3 home runs to cheer about so far. The pitch is low and inside. 2 balls and a strike. And I think you're starting to see this team, especially with the return of Votto, the addition of a guy like Elly De La Cruz. There's starting to be some power put back into this Reds lineup. The pitch. Olsen swings, high, deep drive toward the left field corner. Steer going back, looks up, it's gone. 2-run home run, Matt Olsen the other way. And it is 7-5 Atlanta. The Braves are back on top. '22nd home run of the year for Matt Olsen. RBIs 53 and 54. And now Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna's 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. The pitch, and Ozuna takes up and away for ball 1, 1-0. Duarte gets the sign. He throws. And Ozuna pounds it into the ground. Left side. De La Cruz cuts it off, moving to his left, and flips it over to Votto for the out. 1 away here in the Braves' 5th. Let's look at today's scoreboard stumper. It's presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka. For every Reds RBI, Great American Ballpark this season. Love Tito's will donate $50 to the Reds Community Fund, which is dedicated to improving the lives of youth through baseball. So far, 176 RBIs. Means $8,800 has been generated to support this mission. First, the first pitch to Travis d'Arnaud, and he swings and sends a high, fairly deep fly ball right center field. Friedl going back and just shy of the wall. Friedl will make the catch in very deep right center, flirting with the 370 sign. 2 gone. 6 pitchers, half a dozen, have collected 100 or more career saves while playing for the Reds. Who are they? David Bell will go to the mound. That seems to be the end of the day for Daniel Duarte.
Cordero, Danny Graves.
We'll give you time to think on it. Boom, boom. Cordero 150, Danny Graves 182. The Reds' all-time saves leader. We'll tell you about the new pitcher and continue to ponder this in a moment. 7-5, Braves lead it. Nobody on, 2 out in the 5th on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
New pitcher for the Reds will be left-hander Alex Young. Young comes on to face left-handed hitting Eddie Rosario. Young will be pitching for the 33rd time, 2-0 record, with a 2.70 ERA in his 30 innings pitched.
They're on a pretty good roll right now with the stumper. You have 2 left after getting John Franco and Raisel Iglesias during the break. So I always think of John Franco with the Mets. I believe he's in their Hall of Fame. Eddie Rosario stands in and takes a strike called. A breaking ball at the knees, 0-1. Left-handed hitting Eddie Rosario. And of course, Raisel Iglesias back now here at Great American Ballpark for the first time. Ground ball, right side. Diving for it is India, but he can't get it to his backhand. It's by him and into right. And that's a 2-out single for Eddie Rosario. Brings up Orlando Arcia, who has a double and a strikeout so far tonight. Iglesias, 106 saves as a member of the Reds. John Franco, 148. Pitch to Arcia is up and away. Ball 1. There's another guy on this list that is still active. The 1-0. Swing and a miss.
That would be Aroldis Chapman.
That is Aroldis Chapman. You are correct. Aroldis Chapman has 146 saves as a member of the Reds. You have one left.
What about Clay Carroll?
Clay Carroll is the final name on this list with 119.
That would be a former Alabama boy.
Chopper to the left side. Into field it is De La Cruz. Easy play to first in time, and Arcia is out. Side retired, but the Braves get a 2-run homer from Matt Olson. They're back on top. 7-5 Atlanta. Halfway through it at Great American Ballpark on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network. They're trying for their 27th come-from-behind win of the season. They've got to come back again. They already came back once and tied it at 5, and then the 2-run home run in the top of the 5th inning made it 7-5 Atlanta. That's where we're at right now, and Matt McLain gets hit by a first-pitch curveball from Colin McHugh. So McLain down to first on the hit by pitch. So it was Spencer Steer that was hit by a pitch after the Votto home run in the 4th. So now it's McLain ahead of Jonathan India. McLain tried to pull that elbow in tight as he spun out of the way of it, but just couldn't quite get out of the way. Right-hander McHugh sets as McLain inches off the bag at first base. The right-hander turns it loose. The pitch hits India. Drilled him right in the elbow. Back-to-back hit by pitches on consecutive pitches. So India's nailed. And here comes Elly De La Cruz. And some will come to their feet. First and second base. Nobody out. The pitch. Swing and a miss. And he didn't get cheated on that swing. Chasing a high cutter. Switch hitter up there left-handed. De La Cruz has already gone 2 for 2 so far. First time up, a double. A rocket double off the wall. High towering home run last time up, and now he looks at a breaking ball over the inner third called a strike. 0-2. The home run was De La Cruz's 3rd. 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. The pitch. Backdoor breaking ball just missed off the outside corner. 1-2. Didn't miss by much. Pretty good pitch from Colin McHugh, but called a ball. McHugh at the sign, sets, looks back at second. They work in behind McLain, and McHugh will spin and bluff, chasing McLain back to the bag. They might have had a play on McLain had they thrown it. McHugh readies. Here's the 1-2. And a broken bat flare. Short center field down for a hit. McLain waved around third. He'll score. Around to third base is India. On the RBI, broken bat single by Elly De La Cruz. 7-6 Braves. And here come the Reds charging back yet again.
It is De La Cruz night at Great American Ballpark. Every fan here. I'm just kidding.
And now the Elly chance again. De La Cruz finds himself a triple shy of the cycle. That is the first hit for the Reds tonight that has not gone for extra bases. They're at the corners for Jake Fraley. The right-hander sets. McHugh throws. Fraley yanks a line drive, pulled foul. First base side, strike 1. He's hit one tonight, almost 117 miles an hour, and now De La Cruz has hit one 77 miles.
17 and 117.
Takes the first runner back. You got to imagine there's a pretty good chance De La Cruz will be running at some point. Decent lead at first. The right-hander McHugh throws. De La Cruz runs. Throw to second. Not in time, but he slid past the bag, and they didn't hold the tag. So a stolen base for De La Cruz. That is his 7th of the year. He slid right on by second base, but Arcia just swiped the tag and didn't hold it.
Well, Arcia also has to be concerned about Jonathan India, because the throw was off towards the first base side of second. It kind of spun Arcia around, and you've got to keep your eye on the runner at third.
Now the 0-2 pitch to Fraley. Backdoor breaking ball just off the outside corner at the knees. So now the tying run at third and the go-ahead run is at second base. The Reds have not led at any point tonight. McHugh gets the sign, sets. Here's the 1-2 to Fraley. Breaking ball in off the plate. The count is even 2-2.
Well, Fraley, he's taken 2 pitches back-to-back, awfully close, but balls. Man, you have to be locked in to be able to take those kinds of pitches with 2 strikes and runners in scoring position.
McHugh's pitch, swing and a miss. Couldn't take that one. It was a breaking ball, started in, dove just off the inside corner, and Fraley swings through it. It's the first out here in the bottom of the 5th. The bottom of the 5th is brought to you by Boone County Distilling Company. Schedule a tour and a tasting to see their grain to glass operation. Experience why Boone County bourbon is made by Ghost, madebyghost.com. Now Votto. Home run to straightaway center his last time up. Second and third, 1 out, the pitch. Bouncing ball, foul. First base side, strike 1. Votto grounded out to first in his first at bat. Before he took the 20-year-old right-hander A.J. Smith-Chauver deep to straightaway center field his last at bat. Colin McHugh with the sign, sets, holds, and throws. The 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball that hangs outside to Votto. 1 ball, 1 strike. Indy at third, De La Cruz at second. The run already in. The 1-1. Votto takes a fastball high. 2 balls and a strike. Votto wands the bat back and forth. Hands held high. And McHugh's 2-1 pitch. Way in off the plate with a cutter. And now Votto's way ahead of the count. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, it almost looks like McHugh is pitching around Votto. He's got a first base open, a right-handed batter on deck. And let's face it, McHugh is not a strikeout pitcher. He is a ground ball pitcher.
Here's the 3-1. Breaking ball, high, deep drive, right field. It is gone! Votto's second home run of the game puts the Reds on top.
Well, his home run earlier tied it. This one puts the Reds on top for the first time tonight.
And this place is unglued. And here come the Joey chants. Is this team fun or what? Ryan Snitker out to make a pitching change. Meanwhile, they are losing their minds here at Great American Ballpark. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
Right-hander Ben Heller will come out of the Braves bullpen. Heller coming on for only the 3rd time, has no record. He is not allowed to run, and he's pitched 3 innings and given up a couple of hits, but he has struck out 8 in those 3 innings.
9-7 Reds after the 3-run blast by Joey Votto, and the pitch is just off the inside corners. He sinks a fastball into Spencer Steer, 1-0. The Reds have outscored their hits by 3. 9 runs on 6 hits. The pitch to Steer is a fastball down low.
Well, we talked about the home run prowess of the Atlanta Braves. Now, they have hit 2 home runs here tonight.
The Reds
The Reds have hit 4.
Isn't that remarkable? The 2-0.
Oh, my goodness.
Down and away to Spencer Steer, 3-0.
And spotted the Braves a 5-0 deficit before the Reds ever came to the plate, and they lead 9-7.
Fastball in there for a called strike over the outside corner, 3-1. It's a shootout officially here at Great American Ballpark. 9-7 Reds, bottom of the 5th inning. Right-hander Heller sets, throws. The 3-1 is upstairs, ball 4.
You know, I'll be honest with you, Tommy. I'll take my chances with a bunch of Billy the Kids over there in that Reds dugout in a shootout anytime.
No question about it. Here is Tyler Stevenson. Just 1 out in the inning. That was the strikeout of Jake Fraley. The pitch up and in for ball 1. Joey Votto now with 315 career go-ahead RBIs. That puts him second on the Reds' all-time list. The 1-0 pitch. And Stevenson, broken bat flare, right field, shallow toward the line. Long run for Acuna, but he will get there and make the catch just before reaching the right field line. Stevenson flirting with dropping one in down the line, but Acuna closed quickly, covered some serious ground, and made the catch. 2-men are out for Luke Maile.
Yeah, Joey Votto only 2 behind Johnny Bench, the leader in go-ahead RBIs at 317.
Votto hit that home run 415 feet to right field. It was way up that moon deck and right.
Well, I thought for sure McHugh was going to walk him. Maybe McHugh's thinking, I should have walked him.
Picked a first, runner back. You know, after you said that, it made a lot of sense. I mean, that's really what it felt like.
And you had a right-handed batter on deck.
Here's the pitch to Maile. And the fastball is in there for a called strike. 0-1 on Maile. Reds trying to win their 12th in a row and snap the Braves win streak at 8. The 0-1. And the fastball is right at the top of the zone for a called strike. It's 0-2. When you talk about a team fighting for it, that's exactly what this Reds team does. They are the epitome of fighting for it. The 0-2 pitch. Maile takes strike 3 called. He's down on strikes and the inning is over. But what a round for the Reds in the 5th. They plate 4, leave 1, but now lead it. 9-7 Reds. We've played 5 at Great American Ballpark on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network. Well, Joey Votto has 2 home runs for the Reds tonight. One of them tied the game at 5. The second one gave the Reds a 9-7 lead. That's where we're at right now as the Braves bat in the 6th. And Alex Young's first pitch is a hook in there for a called strike on Michael Harris the second. And the count is 0-1. Feel for whoever has to empty that trash can later. The 0-1 pitch to Harris.
It's a big Coke night.
Breaking ball down too low. Yeah, and they may have to make sure they don't cut themselves. Here's the 1-1 to Harris. Down and away. I mean, this is what, my 5th year? I've seen you break 1 bottle in there. Now you've broken bottles each of the last 2 games.
I'm on a winning streak.
The 2-1. Swinging a foul ball off the foot of Harris. 2-2 on Michael Harris the second. Reds have battled back from 5 down, 5 runs down early. The Braves with 5 in the 1st. Now the Reds lead at 9-7. The pitch. Harris got jammed, fouls it back. I don't think you want to play the Reds right now if you're anybody in Major League Baseball. 2-2 on Harris. Young pauses. High hold, the 2-2. Swinging a ground ball hooked to the right side. Right to Jonathan India. Moves to his left, gloves, and throws out Harris. There's one gone in the 6th. Reds fans, it's time for you to be heard. This is where you get to ask the booth by simply tweeting at Reds Radio Booth. It's presented by Alta Fiber elevating connection. I'll ask it, then we'll answer it after the pitching change. David Bell out to make a change. This comes from Jamie Ramsey today at Jamie Blog, our good friend Jamie. Would you rather have a team that includes a Lake Maley and Jake Fraley, or a Juke Fraley and a Luke Maley? Ponder that for a bit.
Say that again.
I'll repeat it after the pitching change. New pitcher coming in. We'll tell you all about it. Reds are up by 2 in the 6th on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
Right-hander Ian Gibaut will come out of the Reds bullpen. This will be his 35th appearance. Gibaut leads all Reds in wins with 8. He has 1 loss in his 35 and a third innings pitched.
He will go to work against Ronald Acuna Jr. with nobody on and 1 out the pitch. And he's first ball swinging. Skies a pop-up into very shallow left field. Out goes McLean waving his arms, and Spencer Sears says, "Get out of the way, I got it." And he makes the catch in very shallow left field. So that question again from our good friend Jamie Ramsey. He wants to know, basically playing on the alliteration, would you rather have a team that featured a Lake Maley and Jake Fraley, or a Juke Fraley and Luke Maley? Basically, I think what he's saying.
I don't want a Juke.
You don't want a Juke? I kind of like the name Juke.
Lake would be okay.
First pitch is a
Lake
strike called at the knees, and the count is 0-1. I understand that.
Juke's a football term. They can have that.
Pitch is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ozzie Albies. 9-7, Reds lead the Braves. 6th inning. Bases empty, 2 outs. Ian Gibaut throws. The 1-1 pitch is just off the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike.
This is kind of one of those scraps that you have on the streets, maybe in the backyard.
2-1.
You get a couple of big fellas going at it, and the one guy knocks the dude down on the ground, and it looks like he's cold. He's out. And the guy's celebrating, giving high fives and talking to his friends. You see what I did? And all of a sudden the dude gets up.
Tackles him. Foul down the left field line. Full count on Albies.
And the next thing you know, that big fella knows he's in a fight. And that's where we are right now.
Well,
this fight ain't over.
I tell you what.
Do not think this game's over.
Make no mistake, coming into this series, we could see this collision course building over the last few days. The Braves are red hot. The Reds are red hot. The pitch inside almost hit him, but it's ball 4 anyway. And down to first base, Ozzie Albies. It's like 2 freight trains colliding. And I don't think you could draw up a better game 1 of this 3-game weekend series than what we've got so far tonight. I mean, just a knockdown drag out here in the first of 3 between these 2 first-place teams.
And we will have 3 of these for you, by the way.
Austin Riley's up with 1 on and 2 out. Ian Gibaut fires. Swing and a miss. A fastball up in the zone, and Riley swings right through strike 1. Riley has been crushing Reds pitching going all the way back even to his minor league days. This guy is just, for whatever reason, has always hit Reds pitching well. Pick to first, runner back. And tonight, no different. He's 2 for 3. Couple of singles. He's scored twice. He has an RBI. He was retired in the 2nd on a fly out to center. Ian Gibaut sets, throws the 0-1 pitch. Runner takes off. The pitch is a strike. Throw to 2nd. A good one will have a chance. Not in time. Stolen base for Albies. This is his 4th stolen base of the year.
Great jump by Albies on Gibaut. Not a whole lot of chance for Luke Maley behind the plate, even though Luke Maley has got a cannon. He's had a couple of tough opportunities to try to throw out base runners that got tremendous jumps.
0-2 pitch was well located right on the edge. And now here comes the 0-2. And he started to go and held up.
Ooh. Boy, every Red was heading to the dugout.
In unison, everybody on the field was drifting toward the Reds dugout. You could understand why. It was close.
I think he held up.
I think so. I'm right there with you, but it was very close. About as close as you can go. The 1-2, instead time called by the catcher, Maley, and he wants to go talk with Ian Jabot first. If you'd like to submit a question for Ask the Booth, all you have to do is tweet at Reds Radio Booth. Thanks to Alta Fiber elevating connection. And yes, if you're wondering what kind of question was that from Jamie Ramsey, we don't mind the outside the box question. One and two on Riley. Jabot looks at second. Now home with a 1-2. Fouled away right side. That was probably not the pitch they discussed. They may have talked about a fastball, but probably not down the middle.
If they did discuss that, they need to have a good stern talking to. I want you to throw it right down the middle as hard as you can on a 1-2 pitch. I don't think that's what was talked about.
Here's the 1-2 again to Austin Riley. Swinging a foul straight back. That time he elevated the center cut fastball to the top of the zone, and Riley spoils it. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Austin Riley. Reds are up 9-7. Braves are batting in the top of the 6th inning. The Braves jumped out to a 5-0 lead. The Reds were shut down 1-2-3 in the first and have scored in every inning since. Capped by 4 in the 5th. The 1-2 pitch. In the dirt outside. Great block by Maley. Holds the runner Albies at second base.
Good pitch selection. Just didn't start that pitch on the plate. Riley has choked up on the bat about a half an inch trying to catch up with that fastball, which he's been late on. If you start that breaking ball on the plate, you probably get a strikeout there.
Jabot's 2-2. Swing, and it's hit high into the air. Right field, playable for Fraley. He's under it, waiting on it. He's got it, and the inning is over. The Braves get a 2-out walk, strand a man at second, and we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Reds still lead at 9-7 on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network. TJ Friedl will lead off the Reds' 6th inning. This is the 3rd time in this game that Friedl has led off an inning. Obviously, the first inning. He's the Reds' leadoff hitter tonight. The pitch is outside for ball 1. Reds are up 9-7 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here at Great American Ballpark, the first of 3 tomorrow at Scram Ashcraft, getting activated from the injured list and going up against lefty Jared Schuster. Cutter misses into the left-handed hitting Friedl. It's a 2-ball, no strike count.
Add on the top of your order. You're trying to get another insurance run.
Way inside. That almost hit Friedl. It's all the way to the backstop, and it's 3-0. Well, Friedl getting on base to start the inning would go a long way to that. No doubt the folks in Cincinnati are excited about this Redlegs team. Packed house tonight, expected to be the same tomorrow, and probably more the same on Sunday. Friedl takes outside ball 4. There are still tickets available for Sunday's game. There might even be some still available for tomorrow night. So hope to see you out here.
This is what you call a playoff atmosphere.
Yes, it is.
If you have never been to a playoff game, see if you can get a ticket tomorrow or Sunday, because that's what it's like. Electric.
You want to be here. Here's Matt McClain taking a first pitch strike, a fastball from Heller, and the count is 0-1. 2
of the hottest teams in baseball going head to head.
I mean, you don't even sometimes get that kind of matchup in the postseason. No. I mean, with two teams playing as good as these two are, the pitch is in there for a strike called. It's 0-2 now on McLean. I mean, this is a treat. No balls, 2 strikes on McLean. Hit by a pitch his last time up. Strikeouts each of his first 2 times up. Against A.J. Smith, Shawver picked to first. Chases Friedl back to the bag. Good chance Friedl will be running here at some point. Friedl already with 2 stolen bases. Swiped both bags in the third. Went to second, then stole third. Later scored on the home run by De La Cruz. McLean down to the count. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Inside, off the mid of the catcher, Darno to the backstop. Friedel's down to second base with a big turn. He holds on.
Right now, Heller may want to think about trying a new grip because whatever he's using is going all over the place.
So now Friedl in scoring position with nobody out. 1 ball, 2 strikes on McLean. The right-hander Heller looks at second. High hold, the pitch. Breaking ball, driven deep to the left center field gap. Back on it is Harris. He'll make the catch. Friedl will tag at second and move into third base on the fly out by Matt McLean. It's still a productive at bat for McLean as he moves Friedl into third. As you're talking about, you just want to add on. You don't necessarily need to have a big inning, just continue to put the pressure on.
As you continue to add on, you keep the momentum on your side. But what you do for Brian Snitker, the manager for the Braves, is he's got to figure out who he's going to bring in next out of that bullpen. The more that you get towards their back end of their bullpen, then you have problems.
Infield is in, and Jonathan India swings and misses at a high fastball, strike 1.
You want Snitker to go to the guys that he brings in the third and the fourth inning when the game's out of hand.
Infield is in all the way around. 9-7 Reds leading it. Runner at third, 1 out, the pitch. And it's a ground ball through the drawn and infield up the middle, base hit. Friedl will score. It's 10-7 Reds on the RBI single by Jonathan India. So the Reds do, in fact, add on. And they're still at work.
That's a whatever it takes base hit. Right off the knuckles and puts it in a good spot.
When people think that baseball is a solely individual sport, it can be, sure. Or you can play team baseball like the Reds have been playing all season long. And now Ellie De La Cruz. That's team baseball right there. Runner on at first with 1 out, the pitch. Ellie swings and fouls it back. He is a triple shy of the cycle as he bats here with a runner at first and 1 away. 10-7, Reds are leading it in the bottom of the 6th. The Reds have scored in 5 straight innings going back to the 2nd. De La Cruz, a base hit. He has scored 3 times. Base hit his last time up. The pitch off the plate and in. 1 ball, 1 strike on De La Cruz. He singled, drove home a run, stole second. 2-run home run for De La Cruz in the third. Doubled and scored in the second inning. The 1-1. Down and in again. 2 balls and a strike on De La Cruz. And with Heller, as you pointed out earlier, he's all over the place right now. You've got to be very alert if you're Jonathan India over at first base. Switch hitter up there left-handed against the right-handed throwing Heller. Long look in for the sign, has it, sets and throws. And De La Cruz bounces it just foul. First base side. They'll go bouncing up into the seats. Two and two the count. Here's the 2-2. And there's a drive toward the right center field gap. That's down. This will send India around third. De La Cruz going for third. Here's the relay. Not in time. An RBI triple for Ellie De La Cruz. And he has just hit for the cycle.
That's why you buy a ticket. These kids are doing things that have not happened here in a long time.
It took Elly De La Cruz 15 games to do something that hasn't happened for the Reds since 1989 when Eric Davis hit for the cycle against the Padres back on June the 2nd. Wow. 11-7 Reds. And here is Jake Fraley with the infield drawn in again, and the pitch is outside.
And by the way, it's 11-7.
How about that? This is unbelievable. The right-hander comes set. The pitch to Fraley. Up and in. 2 balls and no strikes on Fraley. Long look in. Heller has the sign, sets, he throws. And Fraley takes up and away. 3 balls and no strikes. 11-7 Reds. Still just 8 hits. The 3-0. Strike called on the outside corner. 3-1 on Fraley.
Bandits with their hair on fire.
They are.
That's who these kids are.
This is just too much fun to watch. The 3-1. And there's a strike on the inside corner to Fraley. We talked about it earlier. I mean, it's been somebody different at some point that has carried this team. At one point it was Jake Fraley, and Fraley's still doing his part to contribute. The game-winning hit on Wednesday.
In India, it's been McClain tonight. De La Cruz.
In a big way. The pitch. And there is a rocket into the net above the Reds dugout, and that's when you are very grateful that net is there.
And lest we not forget that Jake Fraley was the man that got the Reds on the board when they were trailing 5-0 with a 2-run shot out of right center field.
All the way back in the 2nd inning. It was Fraley's 10th home run of the year. Here's the 3-2 pitch. He swings and pops it foul. Back out of play to the left. But it's amazing, I mean, how you don't want to say carefree because this team isn't playing carefree. They care a lot. They're playing stress-free baseball. They're just free and easy out there having a good time, and it shows. The right-hander comes set. Here's the payoff. In the dirt inside, ball 4. Let's pause for station identification on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
A not guilty plea from a father accused of killing his 3 young sons, and Cincinnati Pride set to celebrate 50 years this weekend. Those stories and more after the game on the home of the Reds. News Radio 700 WLW Cincinnati.
Well, they're lower end guys.
Brian Snitker out of the mound. He will make another pitching change after the walk of Jake Fraley, and Brian Snitker just with a parade of relievers out to the mound here tonight in the first game of this 3-game series. Runners at the corners. The Reds are up 11-7. We'll tell you all about the new pitcher when we come back on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
New pitcher for the Braves, the former closer for the San Diego Padres for years. And it'll be Kirby Yates, 2-0 with a 3.42 ERA. 27th appearance for the right-hander Yates. And he gets a man that has hit home runs in back-to-back at-bats in Joey Votto.
Right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter, 2 on, 1 out. The pitch to Votto. Fraley's running, ground ball just foul. First base side, strike 1. This place absolutely erupted during the break. They posted on the board that was the first cycle since Eric Davis last hit for the cycle back in 1989. And these Reds fans have quickly, and for good reason, fallen in love with Elly De La Cruz, and they just showered him with a thunderous standing ovation while the pitching change was made.
Boy,
Pretty cool moment.
Don't you love it when a plan comes together?
It is unreal how this is all coming together. Yates gets the sign, sets, and throws the 0-1 to Votto. Strike. And a high strike at that, but a strike nonetheless. It's 0-2 on Votto. 19th career multi-home run game for Joey Votto tonight. 4 RBIs, 2 for 3. Votto now with 4 hits. 3 of them have been homers since his return from the injured list. Pick to first, and Fraley back to the bag. He was running earlier. And now De La Cruz coming home, and the throw to the plate will get him. So De La Cruz trying to catch the Braves napping there on the pickoff attempt at first base on Fraley, and he gets thrown out. So he is out. I guess will probably be called a caught stealing. And
not exactly the smartest base running decision. Now, had he had a bigger lead, maybe you have a chance, but he had no chance there.
0-2 on Votto. Fraley at first base now with 2 out. And the 0-2 pitch on the way to Votto. Fraley's running, and the pitch is cut on and missed. Down on strikes. Votto, the inning is over. What a round for the Reds again here in the 6th. They score 2 more. It is 11-7 Reds as we head back to Cowboy in the 7th on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
Right-hander Buck Farmer will come out of the Reds bullpen. He'll take over for Ian Gibaut as we begin the 7th inning of play. Farmer coming on for the 35th time. 2-3 with a 2.48 ERA. 23 hits in his 36 1/3 innings. He will get Matt Olson to begin the 7th. High breaking ball up and away. A 1-ball no strike count. Reds leading the Braves 11-7 as we begin the final 3 frames here at Great American Ballpark. Fastball misses high and away. It is a 2-ball no strike count now to Olson. Olson, Ozuna, d'Arnaud. 4, 5, 6 here in the Braves order. And Farmer to the plate. And it is popped up down the left field line, slicing towards the seats. It is caught by Spencer Steer. He caught that ball. That is unbelievable.
Just another jaw-dropping moment here at Great American Ballpark on this night. I didn't think he had a chance as he got close to the wall.
He had forever to run. Never gave up on it. Continued. Had to go up on the wall to catch it. And catch it he did. 1 down. Nice job.
Goodness. What else is this game going to have for us?
And this is the guy that made the final play on a diving snag at first base in the sweep of the Colorado Rockies with the same exact pitcher on the mound for the final out. Strike 1 here to the right-handed hitting Marcell Ozuna, and he hits this ball high into the air to left field. It is slicing towards the corner, and there is Steer again. 2 down.
We had a long way to get to that one, but he made it look a little bit more routine, catching that right before he got to the line.
In our game today, if you are a young player and you have versatility on the defensive front and you can hit, guess what? You get to play pretty much every day. You may play a different position every day, but you get to play. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball. Down and away from the catcher d'Arnaud. No ball, 1 strike count. d'Arnaud with the big blow for the Braves back in the first inning. A 3-run opposite field homer in the 5-run first inning off of Luke Weaver as the Reds spotted the Braves a 5-run lead to begin the ball game before the Reds ever got to the plate. It is 11-7 Reds in the 7th inning. Swing and a miss. Another breaking ball right over the outside corner, and d'Arnaud comes up empty. No ball, 2-strike count. If you just joined us, you missed a whole lot of excitement. Fastball upstairs, specifically that Ellie De La Cruz has hit for the cycle here tonight in his first 4 at-bats. Double, homer, single, triple. First time that's been accomplished since the name of Eric Davis played back in 1989. Fastball up and away. 2-ball, 2-strike count here to d'Arnaud. Farmer back with a high hold. Setting away Maile. Breaking ball. Just misses. Looked like it may have caught the inside corner. It was not a strike. And now the count full. 3-2 to d'Arnaud. Farmer comes calling. Jam shot. Leaping and could not get it is the shortstop McLean into center field. Friedel will pick it up as it almost came to a halt. That ball was hit right off the hands of d'Arnaud. And for a moment, I thought McLean was going to be able to get it. That's as high as he can hop. So a 2-out single will bring Eddie Rosario to the plate. Rosario 1 for 2 tonight, a single and a walk. And he'll take a changeup just off the outside edge. A 1-ball, no-strike count. Farmer to the plate. Yeah, that's a strike over the inside corner. Fastball down and in to Rosario. 1-ball, 1-strike count. The pitch hit high and deep to right center field, and that is off the top of the wall. Quick pick by Fraley. The throw into second, and they will hold d'Arnaud at third base. I thought that ball was out of here.
You and I both, partner. That ball, I don't know how it didn't get out.
Must have hit right off the top of the yellow line, just to the left of the 370 sign. And Fraley played it perfectly. As the ball came off the wall, he got it on one hop, turned and fired to McLean, and because of that quick reaction by Fraley, d'Arnaud is held at third.
I actually thought it was going to carry him away from Fraley because he was right up against the pads when that ball hit off the wall. But somehow he was still able to make the play off the fence and get it back in. You know, you see a player that close to the wall, when it hits off the wall, so often it shoots way past him. But Fraley's reactions were so quick that he was still able to make the play.
Well, d'Arnaud with a double. Now the Braves with runners at second and third base with 2 outs. And now Farmer has got to come up with a couple of big pitches here to Orlando Arcia. Arcia 1 for 3. He doubled and drove home a run back in the 5-run first inning. And a big out for the Reds and a big at bat for the Braves here. Fastball, strike 1 over the outside corner. Farmer trying to lock down this 7th inning. The pitch, swing and a miss. Just off the outside corner with a breaking ball, and Arcia flailing at it. No ball, 2-strike count. Oh, 2. Farmer, pitch, up and away with a fastball. 1 ball, 2-strike count. You're this far ahead, you've got to get an out here. Second and third, 2 down. Pitch, way outside with a breaking ball, and Farmer tried to overthrow that one after the ugly swing by Arcia earlier in the count. And Arcia did not even offer at that pitch. It never caught plate, never even close. 2-2. Farmer rocks it to the dish. Swing and a miss. He struck it out. The old high heater up and in. And he'll put Arcia in the books for the final out for the Braves here in the 7th. 11-7 Reds. They look to add to it as they head to the bottom here on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network. Spencer Steer set to lead things off for the Reds here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Boy, is this the place to be. It is some kind of fun to come to the ballpark these days. I mean, from corner to corner, this joint is rocking.
It's the place to be.
Fastball away from Kirby Yates as Steer takes that one for ball one. 1 ball, no strike count. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. High fastball up and away. That'll even things at a ball and a strike. Well, these folks have been privy to some kind of entertainment here tonight. The 1-1. Jam shot. Fouled to the right side. Out of play. 5-0 after a half inning of play. You've seen a cycle from De La Cruz. That hasn't happened since Eric Davis did it back in 1989. Joey Votto has hit 2 home runs here tonight. The pitch. Swing and a miss. High fastball. Up and away. Steer has struck out. 1 down.
And now it's starting to rain. Why not? I don't think there's going to be any rain on this Reds parade, though.
That'll bring Tyler Stevenson to the plate. Stevenson 0 for 2 tonight. He did reach his first time up with a walk. And he'll take a high fastball up and away, and that's strike 1. Changeup down low. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Stevenson has flied to left. He's also hit a flare into right field. A nice running catch by Acuna Jr. And he fouls this one off the netting of the far end of the Reds dugout down by the camera well. And Stevenson a bit tardy right there, and it's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Yates back to the plate, and again fouled to the right side. This time up into the second deck, out of play. Braves have out-hit the Reds 13-8. But the Reds lead in the most important category, and that would be the score. 11-7 Reds. Yates turns it loose. Fouled again. This time off the facade of the third deck. Right over the Reds dugout. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yates sets, turns it loose. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. Back-to-back strikeouts for Yates here in the bottom of the 7th. 2 down for Luke Maile. And believe it or not, the Reds have out-homered the Braves thus far tonight. 4 for the Reds, 2 for the Braves. And the Braves have been the most prolific home run hitting team. Ground ball back up the middle. That's into center field, and Maile has his first hit of the night. And we go back to the top of the order. Here's T.J. Friedel. I don't believe we'll see Luke Maile attempt to steal.
I think that's a safe bet.
There's a whole lot of folks in this Reds lineup that can steal bases. And I'm not saying that Luke can't steal a base because he does have one on the year. But this probably would not be the most opportune time. Strike one over the inside corner. Looked like Friedel was taking all the way. Friedel has scored twice tonight. Both times he reached on the base on balls. Has a couple of stolen bases as well. Backdoor looked like a changeup. And that's going to miss outside, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Friedel readies, Yates delivers. And that's in the dirt. Another changeup. 2-1 now to T.J. Friedel. Yates comes back to the set. Maile off the bag at first. The pitch lifted high into the air into right field. Acuna will have this one when it comes down, and that is the final out of the 7th inning. 2 innings to play. Reds lead this one 11-7 over the Braves. Tommy Thrall coming back on the Ultra Fiber Reds Radio Network. New pitcher for the Reds will be right-hander Lucas Sims. Sims will come on for the 29th time, 1-1 with a 2.60 ERA. Only 12 hits in his 27 2/3 innings for Sims. Opponents hitting a mere 133 against him. And by the way, Sims is about to face the team that he came through the minor leagues with and made his major league debut, and that would be the Atlanta Braves.
He will deal with the number 9 hitter, Michael Harris II, followed by the top of the order, Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies. If anybody gets on, Austin Riley. Reds are leading at 11-7. We're in the 8th inning here at One Big House Party, Great American Ballpark. The pitch is up and away for ball one, 1-0. The folks here are having a great time. 1-0 on Harris. Sims has the sign, sets ready, and throws. And Harris fouls it off the left side. 1 ball, 1 strike on Harris. He is 1 for 3 tonight. He singled in the 4th. He's also grounded out to short and grounded to second. The 1-1. Popped up foul. Back to the left side. Again into the seats. 1-2 on Harris. Well, I guess we could see what's going on around the rest of the league. I doubt there's many games as exciting as this one. Sims fires the 1-2 pitch. Harris again spoils it foul off to the left side. And the battle here continues. Scores around the league brought to you by FanDuel. Swing for the fences and join FanDuel today, official partner of the Cincinnati Reds. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a breaking ball in the dirt. Down on strikes, Michael Harris. 1 gone in the 8th. Well, the Reds entered play today a game and a half ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cubs are trying to charge. They're 3.5 back right now in 3rd place. The Brewers currently lead Cleveland 7-1 in Cleveland. That game's at the bottom of the 9th inning. The Pirates winning today. The pitch. This ball's cranked to left field, going back on its steer. He will turn and look, and it's gone. Ronald Acuna Jr. drives it out of here to left. His 3rd hit tonight. This is his first home run of the game. His 16th home run of the year. It is 11-8 Reds on the home run by Acuna. And the Bluebirds are out for the Braves. We talked earlier about how well the Marlins have been playing. Well, the Pirates had lost 10 in a row. And wouldn't you know it, they're able to beat one of the other hottest teams in baseball, and the Marlins today, 3-1 the final in Miami. Here's Ozzie Albies. Wide open stance for Albies. The pitch. Albies swings and fouls it back. Elsewhere around the league in the final, just gone final in Detroit. Tigers fell to the Twins 4-1. Minnesota is at the top of the American League Central. Rays 11-3 winners over the Royals in Tampa. The 0-1 pitch to Albies. He swings and drops it into shallow or down the right field line. It'll actually be a foul ball out of the reach of Votto. Thought he might drop that just inside the line, but he pulled it foul. Top of the third inning in Colorado. Angels and Rockies are tied at 2. Red Sox have a 3-1 lead on the White Sox. Bottom of the fifth inning in Chicago. A's are up 5-4 in the Blue Jays. Bottom of the ninth inning in Toronto. Rangers and Yankees tied at 2 in the eighth. The 0-2 down and in with a slider to Albies. Phillies have a 5-1 lead on the Mets. And if you're wondering, well, what are the Cardinals and Cubs doing? Well, they're chilling in London, getting ready for their series that will begin tomorrow, so they're off today in London. Sims deals the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. High heater up and away from Ozzie Albies. Second strikeout of the inning for Lucas Sims. 2 gone to the eighth. Watch the Reds on July 1st when they take on the Padres. Fans in attendance will receive a patriotic floppy hat courtesy of Bally Sports Ohio while supplies last. Pitch to Austin Riley is in the dirt outside for ball 1. Well, if you're wanting to watch this Reds team, you might want to start circling some dates and getting to Reds.com and buying your tickets. 1-0 pitch to Riley. Breaking ball for a called strike. It's 1-1. Riley winding the bat back and forth. Sims home with a 1-1. Swing and a foul off Maley. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Nobody on. 2 men are out. Top of the 8th inning. 11-8 Reds. Sims with the sign. Pause of the belt. The 1-2 pitch. Up and in with a fastball. 2-2. Bailey punches in the sign. Sims to the plate. The 2-2. Breaking ball fouled away down the right field line. The second deck. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes on Austin Riley. 2-hit game for Riley. 2 for 4. He scored a couple of runs. He's driven home 1. Both of his hits tonight have been singles. And Sims deals the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball down and away. It's a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Needed to catch plate on that breaking ball and then get it off after the foul ball down the right field line. That one he just tried to make too much of it.
Here's the payoff. Breaking ball hooked down the left field line and yanked well foul. Deep into the second deck down the left field line. Sims sets ready at the belt. The payoff pitch. And this ball is driven deep toward the left center field gap. That's well hit, and that's gone. Austin Riley lines one out of here to deep left center field. Second home run of the inning for the Braves, and it's 11-9, and the Reds' lead is down to 2.
That home run thing I was talking about earlier, it's now 4 home runs apiece. And make no mistake about it, when I said this game is not over back in the 6th inning, I meant it.
Riley drilled it. He got every bit of that one. And now Matt Olson's the batter. The pitch, and Olson takes a strike right down the middle from Sims, 0-1. A.J. Minter starting to throw in the Braves pen. The pitch. And it's low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Meanwhile, the Reds are getting action up in their bullpen behind Sims. That is Alexis Diaz loosening up. The 1-1. And this ball's well hit. Deep center field. Friedel going back. Looks up. That's gone. Matt Olson with his second home run of the night. Third home run of the inning for the Braves. Riley and Olson back to back. And the Reds' lead is down to 1. And the Braves are trying mightily to spoil the Reds' party tonight. And here's Marcell Ozuna.
Don't you know he wants to tie it with one swing of the bat right here.
Sims fires. Breaking ball is in there for a called strike. 0-1. It's not just Minter, but also Joe Jimenez throwing as well in the Braves bullpen. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball fouled straight back. Boy, he got away with one. A couple of times tonight, Reds pitchers have gotten away with a pitch down the middle of the plate. Against Marcell Ozuna, that is. 0-2, and now Ozuna wants time. No balls, 2 strikes, 11-10 Reds. 8th inning. Bases empty, 2 away. Ozuna settles back into the box. Whirls the bat around as Sims has the sign and comes set. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. The Braves get 3 back. Sims strikes out 3. But the Reds still lead it. 11-10 to the bottom of the 8th inning on the Alta Fiber Reds radio network.
Braves will go back to their bullpen as we begin the 8th inning of play. Joe Jimenez comes out 0-2 on the year, a 3.70 ERA. Jimenez, this will be his 26th appearance on the year.
Matt McLain will be the first batter to face him. It'll be McLain, India, and De La Cruz.
Well, tonight's Toyota Tundra Home Run Challenge contestant, that would be Tracy Hingsbergen from Hamilton, Ohio.
First pitch to McLain. Ball 1.
If a home run hit by a Reds player during tonight's game hits the Toyota hit and win sign, De La Cruz is up third in this inning, by the way. It's located out in right center field. With Tracy, you'll win a brand new built in the USA 2023 Tundra.
Fouled back to the left into the upper deck.
All of this courtesy of your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Tracy Hingsbergen from Hamilton. Good luck. You got a chance.
1 ball, 1 strike on McLain. Jimenez delivers. And the fastball misses high. 2 balls and a strike on McLain. It's been a tough night. That's 0 for 3. He has been hit by a pitch and scored a run. Now the pitch is fouled back. He got a breaking ball down. Caught a lot of the plate. In fact, McLain has missed some pretty good pitches to hit tonight. The pitch that he fouled away for strike 1 was a fastball down the middle. Sometimes you just have those nights. Reds have scored 11 runs on 9 hits, 10 runs on 16 hits for the Braves. The pitch misses low and outside, and now it's a full count on McLain. McLain wanding the bat out over the plate. Jimenez with a high hold, the payoff pitch, outside, ball 4. And Matt McLain in a 1-run game works a leadoff walk here in the 8th inning. And now Jonathan India will be the batter. India has a hit tonight. He's 1 for 3 and has also been drilled. He's scored twice.
Keep the pressure on. The Braves are not going away. Evidenced by that 8th inning.
3 solo home runs for the Braves in the 8th. And that got Atlanta right back in this ball game. And now time called. And this will be a pitch clock violation on the pitcher Jimenez. So it's 1-0 on India. McLean leads off the bag at first base as the right-hander Jimenez gets the sign. He sets and throws. Low and outside, 2 balls and no strikes on India. De La Cruz towering in the on-deck circle for the Reds. Here's the 2-0 pitch to India. Swing and a foul tip. Held on to by Darno. 2 balls, 1 strike. India's base hit in the 6th. Scored what is now a pretty big run in this game. Drove home TJ Friedel, and then India scored the last run that the Reds have tonight. Here's the 2-1. Instead of pick to first, chases McLean back to the bag. India came home on the triple by Ellie De La Cruz off the right center field wall, which looked to be your garden variety double. Instead, De La Cruz went into hyper mode and motored around to third to complete the cycle. The 2-1 pitch. Strike called in the outside corner. I mean, he was warp speed around the bags, De La Cruz was, on that triple. 2-2 on India. The right-hander throws. And India pops up the 2-2 high into the air. Right side over by the on-deck circle. Darno is there. The catcher will put it away. And that's the first out of the 8th inning. India is retired. And now Ellie De La Cruz.
Now this ovation, standing ovation, I might add.
They come to their feet for Ellie De La Cruz as he bats with a runner at first base and 1 out. Joe Jimenez looks in, has the sign. Many stay on their feet. The pitch. And De La Cruz swings. High fly ball, left center, playable. Harris under it. He's got it. And Ellie De La Cruz, for the first time tonight, has been retired. And now 2 are gone, and here's Jake Fraley. So De La Cruz, as it stands right now, 4 for 5. Double, homer, single, triple. 3 runs scored. And here's Jake Fraley. The pitch. And it's off the inside corner. In addition to the 3 runs scored, De La Cruz has driven home 4. 1-0 on Fraley. Fraley is 1 for 3 tonight. A walk, but all the way back in the 2nd. He got the Reds scoring started with his 2-run home run. Pick to first, chases McLean back to the bag. The home run was Fraley's 10th home run of the year. Now 46 RBIs on the season. Jimenez deals the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a foul off Darno into the net. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is just game 1. There's 2 more. Tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow late afternoon, 4:10 beginning. Graham Ashcraft goes against Jared Schuster.
Break out that old belt and tighten it up real good.
Here's the 1-1 to Fraley. Swing and a miss. Tardy on the good fastball from Jimenez. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. McLean edges off the bag at first. It's a ball and 2 strikes on Fraley. Jimenez comes set. The pitch. Fouled back. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Looking ahead to the Braves' 9th inning. It'll be 6, 7, and 8. So it's the lower half of the order, and you may think, well, that's good news for the Reds, but the bottom third of their order is the hottest part of their lineup right now. The 1-2. McLean's running this time. The pitch is down. Throw to second, nearly in time. Way late. And that's a stolen base for Matt McLean. His first of the night. His fourth of the year. And now McLean's in scoring position. And a base hit here by Fraley could give the Reds a very valuable insurance run. Two and two the count on the Reds right fielder. Left-handed hitting Fraley, right-handed throwing Jimenez. A chest high set, big breath in the 2-2. Fraley bounces it foul, first base side, pulling it just outside the bag. And we'll try the 2-2 again. 4:10 start tomorrow. We will be on the air at 3:40 with the Reds pregame if you can't make it to Great American Ballpark. Jimenez again with a high hold. Looks back at McLean. Now to the plate, the 2-2. Fraley with a high, lazy fly to right. Coming on is Acuna. He's under it to make the catch. Side retired. The Reds unable to cash in on the leadoff walk in the 8th. We go to the 9th. Reds trying to hold on for their 12th straight win. It's 11-10 Reds on the Alta Fiber Reds Radio Network.
Well, here he is, Alexis Diaz. This is where the rubber meets the road. Not a whole lot of wiggle room for the Reds closer as he comes on for the 33rd time. 2-1 with a 2.03 ERA. He is 20-for-20, El Perfecto in the saves department. Only 15 hits in 31 innings, and he has a 1-run lead and 3 outs standing in front of him before the Reds can put their 12th consecutive win on the board.
Travis d'Arnaud, the first to face him. d'Arnaud is 2 for 4 tonight. Diaz sets ready. He throws, and a swing and a pop-up on the infield middle of the diamond. Votto under it, arms wide. He's got it. 1 pitch, 1 out in the 9th. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Reds. This copyright reminder is provided by Dinsmore, the official legal counsel of the Reds. 1 out. Here's Eddie Rosario. 2 for 3. He's also reached with a walk. Single and a double for Rosario tonight. The pitch way in off the plate. Ball 1. Diaz has converted his last 25 save tries. Longest active streak in baseball. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And it's off the outside corner. 2 balls and no strikes. So Diaz has the longest active save streak in baseball. The Reds have the longest active winning streak in baseball and trying to make it 12. The pitch. Just off the outside corner with a fastball. It's 3-0 on Rosario. It was away. Didn't miss by a ton, but about a ball width off the plate. 3-0. Diaz deals. Swing and a high pop foul, third base side. De La Cruz is over, but he's out of room. It ends up in the first row behind the Braves' third base dugout. 3-1 on Eddie Rosario. Rosario came in 10 for his last 20. And 2 for 3 tonight with a run scored. Diaz gets the sign. Right-hander to the plate with a 3-1 pitch. Swing and a foul straight back. Fastball right on the outside corner. Rosario really put a pretty good swing on it for how good that pitch was. And now it's a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And again, The crowd to its feet. Here's the payoff pitch. Just a little bit outside with a backdoor slider, ball 4. And Rosario's on for the 4th time tonight. And now he represents the tying run over at first with 1 out. And the Braves will use a pinch runner. Sam Hilliard in to run at first base for Rosario. Orlando Arcia up there with a runner at first, 1 out. Diaz has the sign. He comes set. He throws. Swinging a bouncing ball to short. Could be 2, should be. Flip to India 1. Throw to first. Got him! That's it! Reds win it 11-10. They knock off the Braves for their 12th straight win.
Great way to end it in a double play fashion. Tell you, there's not a guy that was in the lineup tonight that didn't come up big in some way, fashion, or form.
And listen to the love that this crowd is showering down on these Reds. Tomorrow night, the Reds will look for their 13th consecutive win. And the Reds haven't won 13 in a row since 1890. As you know, 1957 was the last time they won 12 in a row. In 1939, they also won 12 in a row. But 12 straight ties the modern-day club record. The magic continues here at Great American Ballpark as the Reds come from behind yet again. The 27th come from behind win for the Reds as they beat the Braves 11-10, and we'll be right back.